You can actually see right, there we go. You can actually see the distinct wear.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see where it's nice and actually machined, and then where it's actually been rubbing. So it should be a uniform, right? It shouldn't have like a distinct spot where the shaft's sitting, because that's an oil film. So when the oil film isn't consistent, then we can start to run into issues. So this is what we're concerned about, right, when we were talking about wanting to take it apart. So that bearing coincides with this bearing. This one's got a little bit more. That ring should not be there. And then there's actual, it looks like something's gone through it. You can actually see the spots where something's got caught in the bearing, between the shaft and the bearing. And just, because the shaft's steel, right?
It'll seize up.
Well, it'll eventually, you have inconsistent oil film, and then eventually it just slowly degrades. And then it takes, low speed is connected to the high speed. And then once they start to go, this is where we start to have our catastrophic issues. You can see, this one's harder to see, because the bearing shaft, the bearing diameter is so small. But there's also, hard to see here. Can't really see it. But you can see some chatter along the inside of the bearing. The high-speed bearings aren't too bad, but when you have uneven wear on this, there's a gear that connects these two, right? So then you don't really want to have too much pressure between them. They did a motor test, tested the windings. They'll come to site, disassemble the front and rear, pull the bearings off, put ceramic ones on to insulate it, and protect the motor from longevity. They invested all this money in the compressor, it's money as well to save it. Usually like to have a check to make sure the ceramic bearings weren't already done. Because when you have a VSD, usually it's a proactive approach, but we just look over, so it's kind of hard to know if it was done or not. So on every York machine that we have that has a VSD, it's the first thing we recommend, because it saves the motor in the long term.
We don't want to do this.
It's one of those things, right? We're trying to do as much preventative stuff so there's no hiccups over the season. So your life is easier.
We want this for the long term.
Absolutely. The whole goal is to have 10 years of problem-free operation. Right? Obviously, there'll be hiccups here and there with water and stuff like that, but it's major issues. Right? How much can we prevent or attempt to prevent? Right? It's the whole point. So it's good. It's good that it came apart, because there is signs of wear. Right? And usually when things start to wear, they start to wear, and then they wear even quicker.
Yeah.
These are a common leak point because it's just an oiled seal, and eventually it'll start to leak, and it'll be in the middle of the season. You got to do a repair on that. So, yeah. So what they'll do is they'll take that end off, and they'll put a brass plug in each tube, and it basically seals the tube on either side, so if it ever did rupture, there's nothing in it. Right? So you're only losing 4 tubes, not 10. I really think it's 10% is the rule of thumb. Out of I think there's 350, so you can plug 35 if there's a new reverse. And that's only a rule of thumb, because there was one that...
Hanover plug 50 plug half. Someone didn't winterize it like previous contractors, so the froze.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up plugging, I think, probably up to about here on the evaporator and about here on the condenser.
And it should not have ran, but it's...
It was one of those, we were all like, we have no guarantee of what this is going to run, but it was the only machine they had. I think it was a rental building, so they didn't have the funds to be able to get a replacement or anything like that.
And I don't think you could retube that one either, because there's like, you need to pull the tube out. And how do you do it through a concrete wall? So you can actually see